nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Today we'll go bird watching, tomorrow we'll catch toads. The next day we'll take photographs of bugs along the road. I never get the feeling that I'm in a rut. That's why I'm a nature nut. Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. There's something fishy about today's show. And you know, I guarantee that's not the last stupid fish joke that you're going to hear in the next half hour. That's because today our topic is fish. Or I guess actually our topic is fishes. Do you ever wonder what the difference is? Well, if you've got more than one fish in more than one species, you have fishes. If you've got more than one fish and they all belong to the same species, you have fish. In case you've ever wondered, and even if you haven't wondered, well, now you know something that nobody else knows and just about nobody cares about. But what about fish and people? What can you do with fish? Well, in our society, we tend to think of fish as either food, as sport, as decoration, or as pets. But you know, fish are animals. They're wildlife. They qualify for the distinction of wildlife just like anything else. So you can go out and you can watch fish the same way you can watch birds and things like that. Now, not a lot of people do watch fish, but today, that's our topic, fish watching. Or should it be fishes watching? For most people, this is fish watching. You get yourself an aquarium, you put some fish in it, and you watch them. It's kind of like watching TV. In fact, I guess right now it's exactly like watching TV. These are Crebensis cichlids, a male and a female. They're from some tropical place. They're beautiful fish, and I think they have eggs under that rock there, but I can't tell because I can't see. It's interesting. There's something to watch. So let's give them some food and have a closer look. And these fish have been bred in captivity for many years. Come on, guys, blackworms, your favorite. So they're a perfect fish for your basic home fish watcher. And the male is being very shy today. He's hiding in his flower pot. Oh, there, now the female's coming. And the female is the smaller of the two. They're both very colorful. Oh, yeah, she loves those. She even chews them a bit. Isn't that refined? Aquarium fish, of course, were once wild fish. They have wild ancestors and wild relatives. And, you know, you might get the feeling that all of the colorful little fish in this world live in the tropics, tropical fish. It's not really true. Anywhere on this planet, most of the fish are little fish, and most little fish are not just babies that grow into bigger fish. They're little fish. They're perfectly legitimate fish on a smaller scale. Here, in this tank, I have 5 species of fishes from 5 different families that are native to northern Alberta, Canada, a very temperate place far from the tropics. But get a load of how cool these fish are. In the minnow family, I've got long-nosed dace in here. Very neat fish. Not really colorful, but they have a beautiful sort of a shine to them, a nice little black stripe. And in the sucker family, there's a little baby sucker. He's either a white sucker or a long-nosed sucker. Fishermen hate suckers, but this is a cool little fish. And a baby burbot in the cod family. Isn't that a nice name? Burbot. Its scientific name is Lota Lota. Lota Lota, the burbot. I love it, so to speak. Anyway, what else have we got in here? There's the brook stickleback from the stickleback family. And my favorite, the Iowa darter from the perch family. It's like a little miniature walleye. Only grows about that big. The Iowa darter. Beautiful. Fantastic. And, as if that wasn't nifty enough, over here, just so they don't get eaten, in this little plastic thing here, baby fathead minnows. What are fathead minnows? Fathead minnows are the very most wonderful fish on this planet, in my personal opinion. And I want to tell you the fathead minnow story. But in order to do that, we have to leave the world of the aquarium and go look for fish in their native habitat, outdoors. When fish are moved from place to place, even to an aquarium, they can transmit disease, disrupt ecosystems, and endanger other species. Never move fish without a permit. Isn't this a fantastic spot for fish watching? Have a look at this. This is a little nicer than an aquarium, don't you think? A pristine northern lake filled with absolutely crystal clear water, and, we hope, with some fish in it too. It's easy watching fish. All you do is you look into the water and look under the lily pads, look around those sunken roots from these old stumps and so on, and you wait until you see some fish. But the question with fish watching is, what are these fish doing? What are their motives in life? What are they up to? Are they looking for food? Are they looking for mates? Are they looking for the right temperature of water? Are they looking for a place to hide? Are they looking for worms on hooks? Are they looking for sunken treasure? What are they doing? It's not that easy to figure out what a fish is thinking, because fish just generally don't have much of an expression on their face, and they don't remind you of people. They have little fins instead of hands. They're kind of foreign to us. So what we need here, I believe, is a fish behavior expert, an ichthyologist. Ichthyology is the study of fish. Fortunately, one of my friends is an ichthyologist. Her name is Hilary Jones, and she has been spending the last couple of years studying the behavior of the fathead minnow, one of my favorite fish, a wonderful fish. Maybe Hilary has got the answers to these pressing fish-watching questions. So, you're looking very comfortable perched there. Can I join you?
Peering into the water.
Well, if you keep at it, you know, after you get your master's degree, you might do a PhD and then you'll be a doc. Sorry, I'm going to take my shoes off here. This looks too comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me you've got the perfect life going here.
I think so.
I've really enjoyed our fathead tours. I really appreciate the fact that you've given me the insight into the fathead story this past summer. So why are you so fascinated by the fathead minnow fish?
Well, not only because they're the cutest fish, because they're interesting because they're so small and yet they do such unique things, and because you can find them anywhere. You can go and, like we are here today, just sit on a shoreline and see them, as opposed to bigger fish like pike and perch that are harder to see. When you watch them, the time and the energy they put into reproduction, it is amazing. When they change their morphology or they look different. The males have big fat heads and they undergo this change when it's time to reproduce, and they get these big white tubercles or points on their nose, and they get spongy pads on their backs.
Yeah, what are they? I never did quite understand what the tubercles are there for.
Tubercles are like our nails. They're made out of that type of material, and they're just, if you want, the cornified structures that they use to clean their eggs or to poke away other fish that are trying to get at their eggs. Or
I like that word, cornified.
I thought you might.
Now, I got such a kick out of seeing those, do you call them nests?
I call them nests. Because they're such a common fish and they exist in a number of lakes, they sort of have to make do with whatever's around. So in some lakes, they'll excavate or dig out a hole under a stick or a rock, or if they have to, under lily pads. Yep, they can do neat things.
You mean they lay the eggs right on the underside of the lily pad?
Yes, they do. They have sticky eggs or adhesive eggs. So when the male turns the female upside down and she releases them, and they float.
I remember seeing this, and the
immediately.
two fish are sort of wiggling side by side, and
Yes,
it's very,
they do, yeah.
very neat. Oh, but this is the cool thing. It's only the males that look after the eggs.
Yes, it is.
That, to me, is just so neat, because the animal kingdom is full of shiftless bums in the male side of things that don't do anything to look after the eggs or the babies. Fatheads, they're politically correct. The males are doing almost all the work. Well, what do the females do? I mean, once they've laid their eggs?
The females lay their eggs with one male, and then a few days later, they lay their eggs with another male. And it goes on like that for the summer.
So she's living this more or less carefree life, except for the fact that she's always pregnant with hundreds of eggs.
She's always gravid.
Gravid.
She's not pregnant.
Oh, not pregnant. What's the difference?
Because gravid is, she just contains the eggs. They haven't come in contact with the male.
Oh, I see.
Pregnant would
Right.
imply she would
Pregnant
give
is-
birth to the eggs.
Right. Fathead minnows live to be 2 years old, but most kinds of larger fish live at least 10 years or more. And then after they've laid the eggs and they've done all that kind of stuff, they just die.
That's it.
It's so sad.
It's like salmon.
Yeah,
They croak.
we had those ones in the aquarium, and it was just heartbreaking to see the male who'd been guarding these eggs so diligently and rubbing them with his little, what do you call that thing on there?
His dorsal pad.
Dorsal pad,
It's
of
on his
course.
dorsal side
And
of the body.
his cornified tubercles. And then he gets this horrible fungus infection and just sort of starts wandering around the tank aimlessly with
Sad.
cloudy eyes, and it's
But you have to remember,
kinda
he's
like-
gone through. He died for his eggs.
well, sure.
Because he went through a
It's
lot
like
of
salmon,
energy.
isn't it? I mean, it's very much like salmon, except it doesn't have the same drama of swimming thousands of miles back from the ocean and jumping up waterfalls.
No, but he has
and
to
all that
fight
sort of
off
thing.
snails and fungus and dirt and other males and other females and juveniles.
That is
are
dramatic, isn't
It
it?
is dramatic.
Snails and dirt. Do you have any advice for the amateurs among us?
Patience.
Patience?
That's my advice. Not every time you go to sit down and watch them, they're not doing what you want them to do or what you expect to see. So you can't expect to sit down and in 1 minute see a lovely drama played out for you.
Mhm.
So take some time, and often fish are going to be disturbed initially, but then they'll go back to doing what they were doing. So you might want to spend a long time at it. That's my advice.
And this is why you spent 2 summers at it.
This is why I spent 2 glorious summers at it.
Excellent. Oh, look, another darter. There's a darter.
Oh, I do
You
see
see?
him.
Yeah.
Right
Now
on
where to go?
bottom.
I guess. So let's tell our favorite fish watching story, the story of the 2 Chinese sages from the 4th century BC.
That would explain why I'm wearing this.
Yeah, it's the story of Chuangzi and Huizu, and you can be Huizu and I'll play the part of Chuangzi. It's such a good story.
It's my favorite story.
It's a wonderful story. Chuangzi and Huizu, as we recall, were having a little walk along the bridge over the river Hao. This can be the river Hao, down here.
How?
Hao.
By flowing.
Chuangzi looked into the river Hao, and he said, Huizu, my friend, look down there. Look at those fishes. See how they are darting about. That is the pleasure of fishes.
And Huizu replied, but you, not being a fish, how can you possibly know in what consists the pleasure of fishes?
Oh, that was an insightful thing for Huizu to say. Chuangzi thought about it for a moment, and then he said, oh, but Huizu, you, not being me, how can you know what I do and do not know?
Good question.
Yeah, oh yeah.
If I, not being you, cannot know what you know, and you not being a fish, how can you know in what consists the pleasure of fishes?
Chuangzi was stunned by the insight that Huizu had demonstrated. This seemed to settle the issue. For a moment, Chuangzi pondered these insightful, profound words, and then he said, Huizu, wait, let's go back to your original question. You asked me how I knew in what consists the pleasure of fishes. Your very question shows that you knew that I knew. Oh, that's a good story. Most female fish lay hundreds or thousands of eggs, but the giant ocean sunfish can lay as many as 300 million at a time. Well, I think I'm really starting to like this fish watching thing. It's very peaceful, isn't it? Kind
It's a hard life.
Yeah, it's a hard life. I keep worrying that my glasses are going to fall off. I guess you don't have to worry about that. So, I have to ask you a question. Among your ichthyological colleagues, you're known as the Queen of the Fatheads. Are you proud of that title?
Well, I don't know if proud, but it started off
I
as a
would be.
joke, and now it just seems to have stuck.
It's a good name. Did you ever wonder about these fish, like if they have names, like proper names, not just their scientific names?
You mean like if they're all called Joe?
Yeah, maybe they're all called Joe, and they just have different last names.
Like what?
Well, like they all start with S. Like there's Joe Smith and Joe
Schnabel.
Schnabel.
Joe Shovelfletcher.
Joe Schnickelgruber.
Joe Schnomer. You ever hear of Joe Schnum?
No.
Man, that was a fish.
Is he dead?
I think so.
Joe Snum was a fish at large, and the first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Oh, yeah. Well, I was walking by the shore on a sunny day, and I thought I'd wander over to the dock of the bay. I looked in the water, what did I see? There was a great big fish looking up at me. Joe Snum, fish at large, and the first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Well, the fish looked back and said, "Hi, I'm Joe, and I've got something that I think you should know." Well, I feel real lousy, like I'm ready to drop. It's all because I'm breathing your industrial slop. Joe Snum, fish at large, the first time I saw him, he was under a barge. And Joe went on, "Don't you worry about me. It's my sons and my daughters who are refugees. There's so many people on the backwoods streams, mowing down the future and polluting our dreams." Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. So I said, "Don't you worry, Joe, I'll see what I can do. I'll tell the other people what I heard from you. Stay out of the woods, get away from that stream. Quit disrupting the unfolding of the natural scheme." And people said, "Yeah, I guess we were wrong to mess around in places where we don't belong." That fish set us straight, yeah, he told us the score. We'll leave it up to nature forevermore. So the years went by and the rivers ran clean, and things went back the way they used to be. But the people lived in cities in misery, thinking that's the way it just had to be. Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Well, those folks needed help, so they sent a note way down on the river in a plastic boat. They sent for the fish who had saved him before, and soon Joe Snum was a-knocking at the door. Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. And he said, "Why on earth are you living like this? You need another lesson from your friends, the fish. You can live on the land the way we live in the lakes. Just take what nature gives you, and you give what nature takes." Well, it seems to me that your thoughts got swirled, thinking you were separate from your own dang world. You're already integrated, you don't have to connect. Just take a look around you and show some respect. Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Then old Joe left in a wake of hope, and he probably died among the motorboats. But I won't forget the smile on his slimy face. He said, "Just live like a fish, and you never go to waste." Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Joe Snum, fish at large, first time I saw him, he was under a barge. Fish at large, first time I saw him, he was way under a barge. You know, the most intimate way to watch fish is to just get in there right with them and watch them. To do that, you need a snorkeling mask and a snorkel. And I'm using a wetsuit because this is, after all, a pristine northern lake in the fall, and it's cold. The other thing you should remember, always snorkel with a buddy. even if your buddy just sits on the dock and watches you and makes sure that you don't, stay under. Anyway, here we go. I hate this moment. Ah! Oh, it's not bad. Wetsuit works. Cool. Now, most people think that when you're snorkeling, the only decent place to snorkel is a tropical reef, like Hawaii or Barbados or something like that, where you can watch colorful reef fish. But once you start thinking about fish behavior, oh yes, very good. Once you start thinking about fish behavior, you can appreciate snorkeling just about anywhere. This lake has got perch, pike, and Iowa darters. Darters. Don't ever try to talk with these things on. And the other thing is, if you don't want to use the snorkel tube, just bend over and stick your face in the water. You'll see things. My feet! No fish yet. Does happen at times though. Anyway, here we go. Can't get any colder. See you later. Wish me luck. Sorry. So that's all there is to it. It's easy. And it's refreshing too. Well, there you are. That was our glimpse into the world of fish watching. Actually, just a small part of the world of fish watching. You might say an undiscovered bay, a hidden cove in the world of fish watching. Oh, that's beautiful. So the next time you're by the lake, you see a fish in the water, give it a second look. Become a fish watcher. After all, we're nature nuts, and we hope you are too. See you next time.
Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Same time each and every week, uncensored and uncut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.